The tuna is any of a number of different species of fish in the Thanini tribe. People refer to many different species in this group by the name, but researchers place the true tuna in the taxonomic genus Thunus. The genus contains 8 different species. Description of the tuna. Most members of this group share similar characteristics. They have streamlined, muscular, torpedo-shaped bodies. All of the 8 species in this group share another characteristic as well. They have multiple, short finlets before their tail fins. Each species has its own size and weight range. Adults measure between 4 feet and 8 feet long, and weigh up to 260 kilograms. Interesting facts about the tuna. These fish have a number of different traits and adaptations that make them unique. The first one, the 8 true tunas. The 8 species in this group are the albacore, southern bluefin, big eye, Pacific bluefin, Atlantic bluefin, yellowfin, blackfin, and longtail tuna. The second one, sushi and sashimi. People utilize many of the various species as a source of food for sushi and sashimi. International pressure for fish has caused depletion in many regional and global populations of these fish. The third one, self-regulation. Researchers recognize this group as one of the few fishes that can maintain their body temperature in a way similar to mammals. This allows them to maintain their body temperature in cold waters, letting them hunt in deep water without losing strength or speed. The fourth one, tuna farming. People in some areas have attempted raising these fish in an aquaculture, or farming, setting. In Australia, ranchers build offshore pens to raise fish. They catch juvenile fish and transfer them to the pens, where they raise them to their adult size and sell them. Habitat of the tuna. Though each species has its own specific preferences, as a whole they utilize similar habitat types. They have pelagic habits, which means that they live in open water, rather than utilizing the seafloor. As a whole, they live both near the coast and offshore. Some range into relatively deep waters, though this varies by species. Distribution of the tuna. Each species has its own unique distribution. Some species have a cosmopolitan range and live across nearly the entire globe. Other species live only in specific regions. As a whole, they utilize temperate and tropical seas, and you can find various species throughout these regions. They live in the Atlantic Ocean, Pacific Ocean, Indian Ocean, and more. Diet of the tuna. All 8 species have carnivorous feeding habits, which means that they hunt for smaller animals. As a whole, their most common prey includes fish and squid. Smaller individuals and species hunt for smaller prey, while large fish can hunt larger prey. They eat a wide range of different fish, squid, and invertebrates. Tuna and human interaction. Humans utilize the various species as food sources. Each faces different pressure from fishing. Depending on the species, people often hunt them commercially or for sport. This activity has led to decline in virtually all species, but the extent of this decline varies. The IUCN lists each species differently, and many face dire threat. Does the tuna make a good pet? No, you could not keep these fish as pets. They're each lengths much too large to house in a home aquarium. Tuna Care. Aquariums do not frequently keep these fish. Those that do house them in massive tanks designed for pelagic species. The tanks often have slightly rounded edges to prevent the fish from hitting the sides. They often house them with other large predatory fish, and feed them herring, capelin, smelt, squid, shellfish, and more. The behavior of the tuna. The exact behavior of these creatures varies based on the species. They have social lifestyles and live in groups known as schools. The size of these schools varies based on the species as well. Some swim vast distances in migrations. These migrations often occur seasonally, or based on water temperature. Reproduction of the tuna. The mating habits of each species vary slightly. However, each species has its own specific breeding rates. They all breed via spawning, where the females and males release their eggs and sperm into the water, and fertilization occurs outside of the body. Different sizes and species produce different numbers of eggs, often in the millions. These are some brief facts about tuna fish. What class of animal does a bluefin tuna belong to? The bluefin tuna belongs to the class of fishes. How many bluefin tunas are there in the world? There are about 1 million bluefin tuna left in the world, but their populations are a threat due to overexploitation. Where does a bluefin tuna live? Bluefin tuna are found in the Pacific and Atlantic Oceans. Bluefin tuna from the Atlantic Ocean are called Atlantic bluefin tuna, and tuna fish from the Pacific Ocean are called Pacific bluefin tuna. Their habitat is subtropical and temperate waters. The western Atlantic bluefin tuna is found from Canada to northern Brazil. The eastern Atlantic bluefin tuna is found from Norway to the Canary Islands. The western Atlantic bluefin tuna is found from the Gulf of Mexico to Newfoundland. This species of western Pacific bluefin tuna is also found from the Philippines to Japan. These are some brief facts about tuna fish. First one, what class of animal does a bluefin tuna belong to? The bluefin tuna belongs to the class of fish. Second one, how many bluefin tunas are there in the world? There are about 1 million bluefin tuna left in the world, but their populations are at threat due to overexploitation. The third one, where does a bluefin tuna live? Bluefin tuna are found in the Pacific and Atlantic Oceans. Bluefin tuna from the Atlantic Ocean are called Atlantic bluefin tuna, and tuna fish from the Pacific Ocean are called Pacific bluefin tuna. Their habitat is subtropical and temperate waters. The western Atlantic bluefin tuna is found from Canada to northern Brazil. The eastern Atlantic bluefin tuna is found from Norway to the Canary Islands. The western Atlantic bluefin tuna is found from the Gulf of Mexico to Newfoundland. This species of western Pacific bluefin tuna is also found from the Philippines to Japan. The fourth one, what is a bluefin tuna's habitat? Atlantic bluefin tuna and Pacific bluefin tuna are marine fishes. They occupy both pelagic and coastal waters. They live in depths as deep as 30 to 80 feet. Atlantic bluefin tuna and Pacific bluefin tuna can be found in tropical, temperate, and subtropical waters. The fifth one, who do bluefin tunas live with? Atlantic bluefin tuna and Pacific bluefin tuna live in schools and mate and hunt their prey together. The sixth one, how long does a bluefin tuna live? Tuna bluefin fish has a lifespan of 40 years. Atlantic bluefin tunas live for about 20 years, while Pacific bluefin tunas live for 15 years. The seventh one, how do they reproduce? To reproduce, Atlantic bluefin tuna and Pacific bluefin tuna form spawning aggregates. Male bluefin tuna and female bluefin tuna produce sperms and eggs in synchronization. Many bluefin tuna mate at the same time, and this method is called broadcast spawning. Pacific bluefin tuna and Atlantic bluefin tuna sexually mature between the ages of 4 to 8 years. About 5 to 10 million eggs are released by the Pacific bluefin tuna and the Atlantic bluefin tuna. Bluefin tuna are generally highly migratory and migrate to the Mediterranean Sea or the Gulf of Mexico. Water temperatures suitable for spawning are 65.3 to 69.8 Fahrenheit in the Mediterranean Sea and 77 to 85.1 Fahrenheit in the Gulf of Mexico. The eighth one, what is their conservation status? The Atlantic bluefin tuna is listed as an endangered species at a global scale by the IUCN Red List status. In Europe, however, the Atlantic bluefin tuna is near threatened as specified by the Red List status of IUCN. The conservation of Atlantic tunas is highly important due to their declining population. The Atlantic bluefin tuna population is at risk due to overfishing and is an extremely sought-after food source. They are fished in international waters because they are highly migratory. This danger led to the formation of the Agencies for the Conservation of Atlantic Tunas. Most Atlantic bluefin tuna is caught in the Mediterranean Sea, where it is found the most. Ninth one, how cute are they? The cuteness of this fish is eclipsed by their gigantic structure, which makes them intimidating. 10th one, how do they communicate? Bluefin tuna are known to be highly perceptive about their environment and can communicate through chemical and visual cues. They possess a well-developed lateral line system. Next one, how big is a bluefin tuna? Atlantic bluefin tuna and Pacific bluefin tuna are 10 feet long. This species of tuna fish is about 6 times smaller than a shark. Next one, how fast can a bluefin tuna swim? Bluefin tuna can swim at speeds of 20 miles per hour. Some bluefin tuna species can also swim at speeds as high as 45 miles per hour. Next one, how much does a bluefin tuna weigh? Atlantic bluefin tuna and Pacific bluefin tuna weigh about 200 to 250 kilograms. They might be as heavy as 600 kilograms in some cases. Next one, what are the male and female names of the species? Both species are called bluefin tuna. Next one, what would you call a baby bluefin tuna? A baby bluefin tuna is also called bluefin tuna. Next one, what do they eat? Atlantic bluefin tuna and Pacific bluefin tuna are carnivorous. This species feeds on mollusks, fish, zooplankton, echinoderms, and other marine invertebrates. The adults mainly eat herring, mackerel, and bluefish. The top predators of this fish are sharks, killer whales, pilot whales, and other marine mammals. Juvenile Atlantic bluefin tuna and Pacific bluefin tuna feed on rotifers, larvae, and brine shrimp. So, today we are talking about some details about tuna fish. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more videos.